So, welcome, everyone. My name is Connie Rose, and it is my joy and honor to introduce you to one of my newer, but one of my closest now friends. I love how God works. Miss Wendy Brennan is a leader in Solex, and she works with me. And it's just been a great journey that we've got to be on together. And like I said, I did not know her. So you came in May. So we started working. I started, we were doing sessions earlier in 2023. And then you joined, I think, in May, or I think it was June 1st of
Yeah.
23. And since then, we've just become dear friends. And we are passionate in bringing this technology to the world. And so Wendy has created this amazing um, PowerPoint with the history and the science of frequency wellness. And my background is I'm a Reiki master. So I love people say, oh, it's all the woo. And I'm like, I am your girl when it comes to woo. I love all that too. And this is not philosophy, this is physics. And so Wendy did a deep dive. And so she's going to share with us the science and the history of frequency wellness. So I'm going to put myself on mute and take it away.
Okay. I think so you got a share screen or is it good to go?
So you're co-host, so you should be able to share. You have the
Okay.
presentation, right?
Great. Okay. Are you guys seeing this? I'm going to go start from the beginning. Are you seeing it says good vibes?
Not yet.
Well, then we're not doing something right.
So when you hit share, a window will pop up, and you just need to click on the window of what's open that where your presentation is.
Gotcha.
And make
That's
sure make sure you share sound too.
share.
There you go.
Oh, goody. Okay.
There now we see good vibes.
Do you see it full screen?
Nope.
Okay.
It's
So I
the
think
main
what I have
presentation.
to do, is this right here. Start from the beginning and you should see the full screen.
It is. Looks beautiful.
Perfect.
Take it
Excellent.
away.
Okay. All right. Um, Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Connie. Thank you for everybody who took the time to be here tonight. We appreciate you so much. And for those who may have just logged on and don't know, my name is Wendy Brennan. I'm a frequency wellness provider, and I use a state-of-the-art scanner to correct imbalances in humans and animal bodies. The imbalance could be exhibiting as physical pain or some other symptom, or it could be an emotional or mental disruption. And as a point of fact, a majority of chronic disease actually begins with an emotional event. Neither I nor the technology is doing the healing since the body is designed to heal itself. What we do with frequency is gently coax the body into homeostasis, and then from there, it takes care of itself. It is safe, non-invasive, and we like that frequency is natural. I've developed a reputation for helping with pain because of the way I first experienced the scanner, but since then, I've helped so many people in different ways, many different illnesses that have manifested in their body, or even just working on emotions, like relaxation and different things that affect the mind. So I got started in this line of work when I met a gal at the gym and she knew Connie. And I saw her screen and it looked like she was a day trader. And she said, no, I use this to help with my multiple sclerosis symptoms. And that was super confusing to me. And I just said, I was late for work, but I was going to want to learn more about that because I was familiar with frequency because of my background with the crystal singing bowls. And Connie came over, talked to us, showed us the different modules. And at the very end, she just asked my husband if he had any pain in his body. And he says, well, not normally, but this week my foot is killing me. So nobody wants that. But for us, it was a God moment because it gave Connie an opportunity and Solix to shine for us, and it changed our lives. So we really appreciate that. I'm shortening that story, but yeah, we both had great results that night, and we were excited to get going. So I do have my own website, soundnautic.com. If you want to go see like how I do what I do and just kind of poke around in there. I do have a private team tab for anybody that joins us with all kinds of information on how to understand the details of your equipment. And I was certified in the crystal singing bowls several years ago. So my friend Lisa was found. And it was because of that I'm so grateful. That was the beginning into my understanding of frequency. I get concerned sometimes. I think, wow, what if I never knew that? Maybe I would have just like totally not paid attention to this. I would have been like, yeah, whatever, you know? But I was just like, wait, what? Okay, I kind of know what those words mean. Tell me more. Because I was really, really interested in seeing how it could help something so grave as an autoimmune disorder that was labeled as multiple sclerosis. All right, so I got really fortunate. I called a friend of mine about 3 days in, and he knew exactly what I had in my hands. He knew way more than I even knew. And with his enthusiasm and his excitement and his wanting to get going and his desire to help people so much, he, in the last year and a half, has been able to help over 300 people. And wow, his testimonies are amazing. He has very, very good results. All right, so we've got a lot of information to share. I'm so thrilled you're here and interested in this topic of frequency wellness. It's taken me many years to pull all the puzzle pieces together. My goal is to accelerate that process for you. I believe it may open up a whole new world of thought for you on how our universe operates and how all sentient beings on planet Earth can interact with universal laws to our best advantage. And yes, I do want to let you know this works with animals. We've seen it work on cats, dogs, horses. We even have a video of Claudia in Australia. She was at the water, what was it, Connie? It was called SeaWorld over there in Australia. And the dolphins did not want to play that day. And she thought, what the heck? I'm going to go down by the water. And she did. And the dolphin came out. One of them did. We have that on video in our Telegram testimonies page. You can have to scroll back a ways because it was a while ago. All right. So let's begin with some principles surrounding frequency. Oh, I want to share too. This is my friend Rita. If you're in St. Louis in the O'Fallon area, she has a beautiful space where you can lay down, and she's got sound tables. I'm blanking on what the name of them are right now, but they make people feel amazing. And she does the crystal singing bowls too and the brass bowls. So I just like to edify her while we can. Okay, so even though our title of our talk is the history and science, we're going to be learning about the cutting edge of healing modalities and how you can use frequency to support the health of your physical, mental, and emotional bodies. All right, so we're all on the same page. We're going to start with the history of electromagnetic frequency and the physics behind it. And we're going to talk about frequency that causes imbalances, as well as the history of the business of frequency wellness. And then we're going to get into how frequency can benefit you. And then lastly, we'll talk about the technology that my team uses, Connie's team, to help ourselves and others, and how you can receive a complimentary frequency attunement from me, because that's what I offer. And if you've been invited by me, if you've never received one before. Okay, so let's go to the atom slide here. In physics, there's 4 fundamental forces of nature, and they are gravitational force, weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, and electromagnetic force. We're only going to focus on one fundamental force today, and that is electromagnetic force, since it's the dominant force in the interactions of atoms and molecules. Scalar waves are derived from electromagnetic waves, but they're fundamentally different entities. It's a type of wave that has a magnitude, but no direction, and it doesn't decay over time or distance. Scalar waves are superluminal, which means they move faster than the speed of light because they are unbounded by the limitations of 3D space. Also, since they don't exist in our third dimension in the same way that matter does, they move through the empty space between all matter. Nikola Tesla referred to his work with scalar waves as standing energy. Quantum energy can be described as both a wave and a particle, depending on the experimental context. This fundamental property of quantum mechanics challenges classical notions of energy and has significant implications for our understanding of the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. This wave-particle duality is a fundamental aspect of quantum mechanics, and it's been experimentally verified numerous times. All right, so follow me here. Since the human body is made up of atoms and molecules, just like the universe, does it make sense that our bodies would function according to the laws of nature that govern the universe? I think most people would agree with that. Therefore, for electromagnetic beings living in an electromagnetic environment, if there's disruptions in our environment that pull us away from what we like to call the master, the perfect, or the divine frequency blueprint, could these physical meat suits that we're temporarily housed in also become imbalanced? Most people can see the connection there. Therefore, common sense would then lead us to this conclusion. If that disruption continues long enough, eventually dis-ease of some sort will manifest. American inventor Nikola Tesla, a pioneer of electrical technology, said if you could eliminate certain outside frequencies that interfered in our bodies, we would have a greater resistance toward disease. When the frequencies of our body interact with the frequencies in our environment, they can have either a healing or a weakening effect on our physical and our mental well-being. Our environment's been subjected to ever-growing amounts of electromagnetic pollution due to industrialization and technological development. Studies show that frequencies emitted from electrical and mechanical appliances and other electrical devices interfere with our body's ability to stay in sync with the Earth's natural vibrations. This interference can negatively affect the body's immune system, energy levels, and sleep quality. It could be one of the reasons why so many people often feel stressed and anxious. Many pollutants lower healthy frequency. Processed and canned food has a frequency of 0. Add in all the toxicity in our soil, our cleaning and hygiene products and makeup, not to mention the stress of relationships, traffic. It can be overwhelming, and it has been for many, but we do have a solution. So the good news is that the conditions that allow for the progression of disease can be changed through the use of electromagnetic waves carrying very specific signature frequencies and used in a specific way. By the way, the specific frequency representing a particular item is called its signature frequency. And every person here and around the globe has their very own personal frequency signature. It's as unique as your fingerprint. I really love Tesla. So here he is after he's done like a lifetime of amazing work. His famous quote is, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So let's talk about the definitions of those. Sound moves through air as frequency waves, which are measured in hertz. When those pressure waves hit objects, that then creates vibration. Vibration is how we hear and record sound. If played at the right frequency, musical instruments can be pleasant. If played at the wrong frequency, it can make you feel ill. And played really loud, you're going to feel the vibration go right through your body. The vibrations of a tuning fork, when placed directly onto the body, are incredibly therapeutic as they help to balance out the chaotic frequencies where the tuning fork is placed. Vibrations from a crystal singing bowl hitting your eardrum and stimulating the vagus nerve will help you relax and get into a theta brainwave state. Theta brainwaves are associated with relaxation, learning, and healing. The brain produces theta waves when you're drifting off to sleep and just before you wake up, and also when you're awake in a deeply relaxed state of mind. You're far more likely to receive all sorts of inspirational and creative ideas while in theta. Is it any wonder meditation is so highly recommended? And then the last word, resonance, we don't talk about too much, or we don't hear about it too much. And it does have different meanings depending on what type of application. But when we're talking about it in regards to using frequency to address bodily systems, resonance is the amplification of cellular vibration through related cells, tissues, organs, and systems. Through the use of resonance theory, a sound practitioner can influence the frequencies of the human body and mind to stimulate well-being and healing. This occurs by playing sounds that oscillate at a particular frequency in an effort to synchronize with the frequency of the body. All frequency makes sound, but humans cannot hear all sound. Would you agree with that? I think most people are aware of that because of the dog whistle, right? We learned that kind of as a kid. A dog can hear something I can't? That's interesting. Frequency is an important parameter used in science and engineering to specify the rate of vibratory phenomena. So I like to ask people, just think about, do you know of any other vibratory phenomena besides sound, which would be measured in frequency? And I know you can't answer, so I'll just give you a second to ask yourself if you can think of that, just for fun. And I will share with you that light is also measured in frequency. Light in physics terms is called electromagnetic radiation. It's a weird name for light, but that is the technical term. Color is a frequency also. Color is the frequency of visible light. Color is a function of the human visual system and is not an intrinsic property. Objects don't actually have a color. They give off light that appears to be a color just because of the way our eye is designed. So here's the anatomical reason why sound works so well in our body. You have a nerve in your head called the vagus or vagal nerve, and it runs down both sides of your body. It's one of the 12 cranial nerves that runs from the brainstem to the large intestine, making it the longest cranial nerve. The vagus nerve's path includes the brainstem, skull, neck, chest, heart, lungs, abdomen, and the intestines. I would call that a powerhouse nerve, as it definitely covers all of the vital life force systems. The vagus nerve is a critical part of the parasympathetic nervous system and controls involuntary body activities. As an example, the vagus nerve increases the rate of gastric emptying and stimulates acid production. It's really great that we don't have to think about all those things and actively make them happen. The damage to the vagus nerve can cause pain in the neck, as well as other symptoms such as voice issues, throat problems, increased heart rate, brain fog, gut problems, tinnitus, and a whole lot more. That damage is generally caused by viruses and toxic heavy metals that inflame the vagus nerve. So knowing this, and I didn't know this right away, but I've been at this for a while and I learned things. But now, if somebody says to me, I have tinnitus, and it's pretty common, I am going to run a frequency detox of viruses and heavy metals, because we do have a section with 40 detox frequencies in them. But isn't it interesting, like with all the things that can go wrong by having an inflamed vagus nerve? I don't know about you, but has anybody ever had a physician say, well, gosh, let's take a look at your vagus nerve and see if it's inflamed and what we can do to calm that down? I have yet to meet anybody who said, yes, my doctor said that, unless perhaps it's a naturopathic doctor. Okay, so in the mid-1800s, Scottish physicist James Clerk Maxwell's quantitative connection between light and electromagnetism is considered one of the great accomplishments of 19th century mathematical physics. His discoveries helped usher in the era of modern physics, laying the foundation for such fields as special relativity and quantum mechanics. So remember, we're in the mid-1800s right now. Pretty amazing. Many physicists regard Maxwell as a 19th century scientist, having the greatest influence on our 20th century physicists, most notably Nikola Tesla, Max Planck, and Albert Einstein. Maxwell was the first to postulate that electromagnetic waves make up visible light. This was later shown to be true in non-visible ways also, such as gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet, infrared radiation, microwaves, and radio waves. And the only difference between all of those rays is their range of frequencies. So we can't see microwaves, we can't see gamma waves, and we can't see X-rays. My point is, just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. We know all these waves exist because we've harnessed them for use, and we get to enjoy the benefits they provide. So if you accept that, I simply ask you to keep an open mind, not only about electromagnetic frequency, but I'll push you even farther to play with the information we know about quantum and scalar energy. We may not have been taught about them, but here we are now trying to fix that. They are real, and we know it because of the results we see. Okay, so we've established that just like humans are limited in their ability to detect sound, we're also limited in our perception of light visible to us. Now, this is just Wendy talking. This is like no historical reference or science behind it, but I find it interesting. Remember I talked about putting the puzzle pieces together? So remember we said that color is a frequency also. I watch a lot of near-death experiences on YouTube, follow a lot of different people, and there's thousands upon thousands of people who've had these experiences, and they have a lot in common. I find it interesting that when listening to the majority of people who have had a near-death experience, they tell us that heaven is full of colors beyond their ability to describe, and they certainly can't name them because they're colors that our physical limitations here on Earth, they're kept from our awareness. We just don't have the ability to see them. And you can't describe something to somebody like, that nobody's ever witnessed before. These same people say that they're able to communicate telepathically while in that dimension. They don't need to hear the spoken sound in order to comprehend questions or to perceive instructions or to relay answers. I believe that highly intuitive people here on Earth are able to tap into frequencies that most of us have not developed the ability to do yet. And I say yet because they all say they believe that we can all do this with practice. I guess with anything, if you put your time, attention, and effort toward it, you can get good at it. Okay, so on a quantum level, everything is vibrating at various frequencies. These vibrations influence our life in subtle yet profound ways. Things that vibrate slowly exist in a form we perceive as matter. Therefore, things that vibrate rapidly, we would perceive them with more ethereal qualities, if we even see them at all. For those who believe we have a soul and at death our soul leaves our body and goes somewhere, can we concur that in order for our souls to leave our body, the soul must be able to raise its vibration high enough to elevate out of the density of our body? These may be things you never really think about, but again, we're just leaving you with some interesting concepts to ponder here. Okay, so planet Earth has what's known as a natural frequency. The Earth's natural frequency is called the Schumann resonance, also referred to as the heartbeat of the Earth. The Schumann resonances are quasi-standing electromagnetic waves that exist in the space between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere. The Schumann resonance surrounds and protects all living things on the planet. Scientific studies show that the human brain reaches its ultimate potential for health and wellness when it resonates with the Earth's frequency. Staying in sync with the Earth's natural frequency can positively affect overall physical and mental health and daily performance and promote overall well-being. This is why grounding, sometimes called earthing, can be so effective. Unfortunately, though, it's not always practical. We too often wear shoes, especially if we live in a colder climate. We don't have time to get out in nature barefoot, or we may live in a place where a lot of herbicides and pesticides are used on our fields and lawns. So that would be counterproductive, being that our skin is, so easily absorbs toxicity. Frequency wellness is a unique modality separate from other forms of vibrational healing, such as sound or color therapy, for frequency can travel through the quantum field, also referred to as the unified field. It is scalar energy. Frequency wellness can but does not have to incorporate audible sound in order for you to receive benefit. The use of frequency for supporting wellness is the cutting edge of complementary health modalities and refers to a type of wellness service developed in the early 1900s based on ideas of resonance and vibration. But the use of frequency as a mode of healing dates back to the time of ancient Greece and Egypt. While physicians in ancient times knew enough from observational medicine to detect a connection between sound and healing, it wasn't until mankind developed the technology of the 21st century that we began to consistently take measurements of the powerful impact music and sound frequencies create. So now we've made it to the early 1900s. Max Planck made many contributions to theoretical physics, but his fame rests primarily on his role as an originator of quantum theory. He was a German theoretical physicist who discovered the quantum of action, which is now known as Planck's constant, in 1900, and that is the work which laid the foundation for quantum theory and won him the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1918. Are you a bit confused how frequency wellness support as a service was developed in the early 1900s, yet we're saying it is the cutting edge of complementary health modalities? There's definitely a gap there. It may just be that it took another 100 years to quantify by measurement that frequencies affect change. Therefore, since not quantifiable, it was snubbed by the scientific community. But it also appears to me that this information has been actively suppressed. When something shows promise and there are lots of people reporting changes, intellectual curiosity should be enough to excite those in the medical industry. So we have to ask ourselves, why didn't it stay in the forefront if it was so effective? It seems to coincide with the rise of the pharmaceutical industry in the early 1900s and the American Medical Association actively rooting out any what they wanted to term quack remedies. Of course, quackery would be in the eye of the beholder then, right? So the powers that be got to tell us what was worthy and what was not. Perhaps I'm a conspiracy theorist, but let me read this and you tell me what you think. The Carnegie Foundation played a significant role in shaping medical education in the United States. While Andrew Carnegie did not directly fund medical schools, his foundation's reports and recommendations had a profound impact on the field. In 1910, the Carnegie Foundation commissioned Abraham Flexner to conduct a survey of medical education in the United States and Canada. The Flexner report declared electromagnetism, remember that would be light, as an irregular science, and light is frequency. Medical schools that offered training in various disciplines, including osteopathic, chiropractic, eclectic medicine, naturopathy, and homeopathy, were told either to drop these courses from their curriculum or they would lose their accreditation and underwriting support. These schools tried to resist, but eventually complied with the report in order to keep their doors open. They had other modalities they did. They didn't want to lose everything, so they just dropped it. The aftermath of such a narrow approach to healthcare is still felt, with prescriptions and vaccines being the primary mode of care, even if multiple prescriptions are contraindicated. As a result, doctors aren't taught biophysics or electromedicine in medical school, so they simply don't know the extent of the multifaceted landscape of the human body. Furthermore, the financial infrastructure of healthcare has evolved in the past century away from being patient-centric. I think we all feel that way as we go into the doctor. They make us wait forever, and we get the quickest 15 minutes ever, right? And you walk out and you're like, I didn't get to cover half of what I wanted to talk about. Nikola Tesla said all that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. So talk about struggle. This guy really went through it, and we owe him a lot. We're going to talk about his story, but first let's talk about how frequency devices work. Frequency is delivered to the body on an energy carrier. Typical carriers for frequency are either electricity or radio waves, also known as radionics. Energy waves as information carriers are used all the time. Radios, cell phones, computer Wi-Fi, and I think we're all old enough here to remember fax machines. These are all examples of using energy to carry information. There are many devices available that are frequency generating machines. A very common one you may have heard of is the Rife machine, created by Dr. Royal Rife in 1920. So, over 100 years ago, Dr. Rife found that every disease has a frequency. He also found that certain frequencies can prevent the development of disease and that others would destroy diseases. Substances of higher frequency will destroy diseases of lower frequency. I would love for you to think of disease or dis-ease as misinformation. It's a disharmony. The body has received an error of information and has moved away from its perfect blueprint frequency. In the 1930s, Rife successfully treated 1,000 patients diagnosed with cancer who had been labeled incurable. And for that, he was honored with 14 awards and an honorary doctorate. After the unsuccessful attempt by pharmaceutical companies to buy out his research and equipment, his office was ransacked, his research paperwork was stolen, and the machine that healed all those supposedly incurable cancer patients, those 1,000 people he healed, they were destroyed. The machine was destroyed. But here's what led to that. And it's really, truly a glorious story of the success of what he had stumbled upon here. Now, I guess not stumbled, is it proper? He probably worked his buns off trying to get to this point. But it's amazing that he had this concept in his mind and set about to prove it and created something that worked. In 1934, the University of Southern California appointed a special medical research committee to bring terminal cancer patients from Pasadena County Hospital to Rife's San Diego laboratory and clinic for treatment. The team included doctors and pathologists assigned to examine the patients, if still alive, when 90 days had passed. Well, they all lived. So after the 90 days of treatment, the committee concluded that 86.5% of the patients had been completely cured. The treatment was then adjusted, and the remaining 13.5% of the patients also responded within the next 4 weeks. That made the total recovery rate using Rife's technology 100% in a 120-day period. Now I'm going to jump in right here. I will tell you the technology we use does contain all the Rife frequencies and a whole lot more. Am I saying our scanner is going to cure cancer? I'm not allowed to say that. Statements like that could cause me to lose my business and get the company I work with in trouble. But it's important to know, again, just connect the dots, do your research, see what makes sense, and it's definitely not going to hurt anybody to give it a try. Nobel Prize winner Dr. Albert St. George said, In every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy. All frequency providers are moved by helping others and bringing hope. Sometimes hope is the best gift that you can give someone. And I like the odds that Frequency Wellness has demonstrated throughout history, and also what my team has been reporting as they work on themselves and friends and family. So let's jump forward another 70 years. Bruce Tainio built the first frequency monitor in the world. His machine was certified as 100% accurate and is currently being used in agriculture today. As previously stated, all matter vibrates. Interestingly enough, although each organ is dependent on the other organs, each organ has its own optimal frequency range. Tainio has determined that the average frequency of a healthy human body during the daytime is 62 to 68 hertz. So humans resonate in the 8th harmonic of the Schumann resonance. We talked about Schumann earlier. The Schumann resonance is 7.83. If you times that by 8, you get the 62.648, putting you right there in the category, the 8th harmonic of the Schumann resonance. Let's remember, 100 years ago, Royal Rife broke it down even further. He identified the signature frequencies of various viruses, bacteria, and diseases as well. All right, this is my chiropractor, and since he was so kind to give me this slide, I told him I would show him off. And that is a great book, by the way. He's a cervical chiropractor. Okay, here is why taking care of your central nervous system is so important. These are the spine frequencies. I don't know how clear it's coming out for you over Zoom, but to the left here, you can see every one of the vertebrae, C1, C2, all the way down to L4. And then next to it, you see what kind of frequency is generated, the hertz. And then next to that, it tells you what those parts of the spine correlate to as far as the work that's being done in your body. And to the right of that, it shows you that when those are not allowed to communicate well because of whatever might be going on in the body, and frequency alignment is one of the things that throws people off. These are the things that you'll see on the far right-hand side that can result by not having those in healthy alignment. Okay, it's easy to pass frequency wellness off as a woo-woo concept, especially if you don't know the science behind it. This is not an esoteric concept because astrophysicists use it, dentists, the medical industry, and as we just saw, it's used in agriculture. Recently, in our Telegram testimonies page, one of our advocates posted that her client's mother was being treated in a cancer facility, and they were using frequency as a part of her treatment plan. So it's more evidence, it's real, it's valid, and it works. When putting this talk together, I came across this study. Scientists clear Alzheimer's plaque from mice using only light and sound. Well, I had to say to myself, I don't think MIT is a new age facility, right? This is definitely super, super promising work. Are you beginning to see the future of light, sound, scalar energy, and frequency medicine is moving full steam ahead? And then an interesting quote from Albert Einstein. Concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. So I think that's really interesting. Scientists will tell us that we are 99.99999% light. And so remember earlier at the beginning of the talk, we were talking about scalar, how it's superluminal and it travels very quickly through the quantum field. It's because it's just going right through the light structure. It's very, very similar to the mental output when we pray. It's an energy that just it goes with our intention and goes right to the person that we are focused on. Human beings emit elementary particles of light through chemical reactions in their bodies. These reactions occur when radicals interact with fats and proteins in cells, setting off a series of energetic reactions that involve fluorophores. Fluorophores are molecules that give off photons, and the glow is most noticeable in the late afternoon, particularly around the lower face. I'm telling you, we're light beings. Knowing this, why would we think that we could not heal ourselves with sound, light, frequency, and vibration? Even thoughts and emotions can be brought into balance with frequency because thoughts are a frequency. Thoughts are a form of energy that can be described as waves. Yeah, brain waves. When we think, our brains release chemicals and hormones that generate electrical signals in neurons, which then propagate as waves to thousands of other neurons. These electrical signals are a form of electromagnetic radiation, again, light, that travel at the speed of light. So thought emits frequency waves, which creates vibration, and all living matter reacts to vibration. It may be subtle. You may not even know it's there, but you are designed to subtly pick up these things. Hey, man, I dig your vibe. Make love, not war. So I think the hippies were onto something. Love is one of the highest vibrations you could emit or listen to. It's the frequency of 523 hertz. Probably heard of solfeggio frequencies. Yeah. All right. So the puzzle pieces are truly coming together. Sound being at the core of creation, God spoke the world into existence, and vibration being everything there is. When you use frequency in a very intentional way to create vibration, it can heal the body, it can heal the mind, it can heal the emotions. And we know that low vibrational thoughts lead to physical disease. Emotional magnetic fields can get blocked and cause the lowering of voltage, which starts the cascade of chronic disease. One way to erase emotional magnetic fields is to use the scalar energy of sound. So we can have it sound, or we can put it on a broadcast and send it to somebody overnight while we're all sleeping. And like that prayer, it is being sent out to them. And at the end, I want Randy to tell a story because he's been broadcasting practically 24/7 to a person with COPD and having great results. If you don't mind, Randy, I'm speaking for you. But anyway, I didn't ask for your permission in advance. Hopefully you will. But technology like this is super helpful for the individual, but will not solve the world's problems until consciousness shifts. And that brings us to the heart. A lot of people know about heart math, something I have yet to learn, but I know a little bit about it. I've been reading it, watching some videos. So the magnetic field of the heart is 100 times stronger than the magnetic field produced by the brain. You can measure the energy from the heart about 3 feet away from the body, and the brain about an inch away. We have our physical body. I don't know, I have to maybe stand up a little bit. I'll do it from my chest. So you have your physical body, and then out from there, your emotional body. And as you move out, you get into the mental body, and then you have your spiritual body, which generally speaking goes out about 6 feet. If somebody's really low vibrational, they don't broadcast too far out, maybe 3 feet. We'd recently learned that horses broadcast out 50 feet. They are such healing creatures, and they have huge hearts. And yeah, so this is why horses are so often used for emotional healing, and many different groups come together and use them. I just last weekend was with a group of friends and was able to go to a meditation, and they put rescued Mustang horses into the stall with us who have been gentled down. I don't know what the word is for it, but they've been, I don't want to use the word broken. They were in really bad shape, and they've been loved back to the state that they are now. And they, on their own accord, will walk up to you and they will smell you. And it's almost like when you look into their eyes and this stance they take, it's like they're working on you. It's so amazing. It is really incredible to watch. Okay, so let's reverse that though and think about it. So if we're not starting with things early on and dealing with them in the spiritual realm, some people know the Bible verse, as above, so below. That's what we're talking about. It's a very similar, just dimensional thing. So if we capture it early and get in balance, then it doesn't move into the emotional body. So all things, like I said, manifest first in the spiritual body. If not dealt with, it goes to the mental body. It's the mental body where you have these thoughts, right? Your thoughts are creating these emotions, and emotions create actions, but it directly affects your emotional body, what you're thinking. And if you think off course from loving thoughts toward yourself, others, and the world at large for too long, it's then going to affect your emotional body negatively. Let it go too long, it's going to manifest into disease in your physical body, which left too long turns into a disease that can be named by a diagnosis. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Beautiful passage. Great advice. This perception we have of being separate is erroneous. We are all connected to one another. We are connected to all things, and what we think and feel is important, not just in our lives, but it is important in this world. If you want to change your life, change the way you think. Change the way you think, and your vibration is going to increase. And what did we just say will happen when you raise your vibration? Happiness and health will come knocking, and you'll create a more joyful life and attract wonderful things into your world. And if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe this guy. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency to the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics, as the great Albert Einstein told us, and the great Connie Rose told us at the beginning of this talk. So let's talk about some things that we can do to maximize frequency's effectiveness. This is my friend, Jolene Miller. She goes by Jo. She is a gut expert. That's her website there, gutandsoul.com. So she says that the 5 causes of stress are the ones you see in front of you here. You'll have to look up Eustace Slater and figure out what that is, but it's an interesting one. And underlying that, oh, I got ahead of myself. So when treating any disease, it's important to look for the root cause, which could be hidden or known. So some root cause examples are food sensitivities, bacteria, viruses, molds, heavy metals, mineral imbalances, and emotional or mental stress. So if anything we're looking at and we want to work on, our whole goal is to get to the root of the problem and address that so we can make the whole issue go away. Our technology will scan you and identify any of the frequencies that could be presenting in any of those categories I just read: food sensitivities, bacteria, viruses, molds, heavy metals, mineral imbalances, emotional and mental stress. But there's no need to worry when you see the imbalances, because all you're going to do is simply hit the optimize button. You're going to optimize yourself and you're going to move on with your day. If over time you do see a pattern emerging where it keeps revealing the same issue, then you're going to want to take some heed and follow through on the recommendations given by the scanner. We just say one scan isn't going to tell the whole story. You're going to want to start looking for patterns. So let's focus now. I do want to say, for those who want to go beyond the frequency, Jo is an excellent person. She does the hair tissue mineral analysis study, and from there she can determine your mineral imbalances, and there's a reason we're talking about minerals right now. It's going to tie in to frequency, but from there then she can tell you how to treat your gut. So a lot of people just jump right in and try to treat the gut, but they haven't done the beginning work for it. Okay, so what is the connection between sound therapy and addiction treatment? Addiction affects the mind, body, and the spirit. In the early stages of recovery, the body begins to heal from the effects of addiction, but toxic energy often persists in the joints and the muscles, and it hinders full recovery. Early recovery is also accompanied by significant stress due to withdrawal, managing emotions, and dealing with cravings. Sound therapy addresses these challenges by neutralizing the brain, stimulating healing in the body, and providing a crucial sense of relaxation. Addictions very often can be heavy metals, and it's also possible, if you have addiction issues, that you could be missing a tone in your voice. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That was first for me. You are often missing the tone of G or the tone of B, but guess what? You can replenish those tones. Our scanner can provide that, and I've seen positive testimonies in that regards from a couple of people in our organization. German Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt talks about the effects of heavy metals on the body and the immune system. His American clients have 100 times higher levels of aluminum in their bodies than his European clients, and aluminum is devastating to the brain. Heavy metal toxicity is a culprit that is linking a lot of chronic disease. It's in the crops. Even organic crops are grown underneath the toxic skies. So I still recommend organic. Do your best, but it's just still we have a lot of challenges. So Joe Miller tells us that mineral balance plays an important role in almost all aspects of our health and well-being. Minerals are literally the spark plugs of the body, playing a critical role in the ATP cycle, which is how our body makes energy. We talked earlier about voltage. We do not want to have low voltage in our body. That's going to lead to some bad outcomes. If you want to vibe high, you have to have the right balance of minerals. Minerals are how we get water in and out of the cell and how we maintain the balance of water in the body. So just because you're drinking 8 ounce glasses of water a day doesn't mean it's getting into your cells. So we do recommend at least 1 8-ounce glass of water per day that you put electrolytes in it. Being hydrated and having the right balance of minerals is what allows the frequencies that you opt for from the scanner to travel and get to where they need to be in the body most effectively. Will it work if you're dehydrated? Sure. Will it work better if you're fully hydrated? Yes. And you're going to feel better anyway. Balancing minerals is also the safest and most effective way to release heavy metals. It's very difficult to release heavy metals from your body if you aren't in mineral balance to start with. There are frequencies in the scanner to address all of the stress factors that we mentioned earlier. We have bacteria detox, virus detox, Lyme, mold, and a whole lot more. There's about 40 in that detox section. And then what's nice is we have frequencies to support your detoxification pathways. So your detoxification pathways would be your lungs, your liver, kidneys, and lymph system. And that way your body can actually handle any, I guess what they call like, help me out, Connie, I'm missing the word here. When you're detoxing, if you detox too fast, you get like a Herxheimer effect. And it's not like gonna hurt you. It's just unpleasant. Nobody wants to have a migraine. Nobody wants to have diarrhea or any of those unpleasant side effects or nausea.
They call
So,
it they call it a healing crisis
okay.
because it is you're in healing mode, even though it doesn't always feel like it. But yeah, you got it.
And it's sad that some people aren't directed properly. Like they think that actually something's really going wrong and they back off. And it's like, I mean, you can back off a little bit, but don't quit because you're onto something. You're getting there, right? All right. Our overarching goal by working on energy realignment or bringing your body back into a coherent state is for the body to naturally restore its information system and return to normal metabolic function. Even though I have seen once and done cases with pain relief, one really should think in terms of lifestyle, just as you do with healthy eating or exercise. Moderation and consistency will yield the best results over time. Okay, so before we get into the features of the technology we use, I do have a quick question for everybody. And I know it's, again, you're on mute, but have you ever heard this phrase? Frequency intervention on a cell is 100 times more effective than chemical intervention. If you haven't heard that before, that probably hits you pretty wow. That's a big statement. This is the guy who said it. But through further research, Connie found that there was somebody who said it about 100 years ago, and I think he got it from her, right? Do you remember her name? I'm not remembering her name off the top of my head, but
I don't remember. I don't know if it was a her or a him. It was the name that I got was initials. But it was like 100. Like it was in I think at the 1940s.
and we were like, whoa, okay, maybe that's where he got it, right? He didn't make it up.
Yeah, it was over at Oxford University again, like very reputable, not a new age facility. Like Oxford University is pretty, been around for a hot minute.
Yeah.
They know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bruce Lipton's a cell biologist. He's written quite a few books. His biology belief, I highly recommend. I've read it twice. If I had more time, I'd read it over and over. It is so amazing. You can't own that information enough in your psyche. And he is considered the father of epigenetics, so he's no slouch. Okay. But I heard this. I heard him make that comment because I was watching a YouTube video one day after he had just got done getting a sound bath with the crystal sound bowls. And he explained that the reason that frequency works so well is because here's the difference. When you take a pill, your body's going to have to process it. Medicine's a frequency because remember, everything is a frequency. So you have to exert all this energy to process this medicine that's in your body, and wait for it to get converted, digested, synthesized by the liver. Then it's got to be excreted. So time-wise and effective-wise, it's not a very efficient process. And you're left with a real good chance there's going to be some side effects from that medication. With frequency, it is instantaneous receipt of the frequency as it hits the vagus nerve in your ear and travels directly to your brain. It can go to work without anything getting in the way. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close with the technology that we use to help our clients. Just take a deep breath. Give me about 3 more minutes. All right, so we're going to shift gears here. All right, we use a software called AOScan by Solex. AO is alpha and omega. AOScan technology is a technology inspired by discoveries from Tesla, Einstein, and many other renowned scientists. It's designed to communicate with the body via subtle biofrequencies and electromagnetic signals. It uses bioresonance, sound, and scalar energy. Solex has compiled a database of over 170,000 unique blueprint frequencies and developed a handheld technology that allows you to compare your personal frequencies with these blueprints to guide you back towards your body's natural state. It incorporates radionics, contains the frequencies of the Bach flowers and homeopathics, has all of the right frequencies in it, 74 tuning fork frequencies, and also uses a technology similar to HemiSync, which means instead of years and years of reading affirmations to yourself, you can record them and have them play back to you at an 8 hertz difference in both ears. That is theta right there. That causes a convergence of the information into the center of your brain for quick acceptance of the information into your subconscious mind. That right there is biohacking. And for those who value personal development, you're going to go farther, faster, and accepting what you're telling yourself as the actual truth of who you are and what you are capable of, thanks to the MindSync program. Connie, I'm gonna ask you to just talk a little bit about it. I know it's so near and dear to your heart because of the type of work you do and the amount of years and money you have spent doing the work you do.
Yeah. So as an NLP master coach and trainer, NLP is neuro linguistic programming. We work with, it's the art and the science of impacting the unconscious mind. And so when they came out with MindSync in September of 23, I about lost it. I was so excited. And since then, I've been using it with my clients, and it really has supercharged everybody's results. And it literally puts the brain. So when we say affirmations, so first of all, like if you guys might be familiar with affirmations, and people will say, oh yeah, I've heard them on YouTube. Well, on YouTube, number one, it's somebody else's words. They're not specific to you, right? Number two, it's in somebody else's voice, and they've proven the most powerful voice, I'm going to say outside the voice of God, is our own voice. Just as a side note, the second most powerful voice in our head is our mother's voice, because it was the first voice we heard. So when you could take your own voice in your own words, and then when you say these affirmations, I don't know about you, Wendy, but like I remember when I first started saying affirmations, and I would say things like, I am naturally thin. And this little committee in my head would say to me, girl, no, you are not. And so, like, how helpful were those affirmations, right? Well, with the MindSync technology, so that's one of the reasons I learned NLP, and I invested hours and hours and hours and about $30,000. Grateful for the technology, and now you can have the same results that I have been producing with my clients with this technology, because you get to create the words that you're going to say specifically for you and your goals. It's like that biohack that Wendy said. So instead of that committee talking back to you and not being your friend, biohacks, it goes straight to the unconscious mind to literally reprogram those limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck your whole life
In your own voice.
In your own voice with your own words. And it's engineered, like Wendy said, it's engineered so it automatically puts your brain in the theta. I mean, and you just listen to it. The best time to listen to it is first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Especially, that's the best, is the last thing at night before you go to bed. Just listen to with some headphones. And Solex has some really cool little earphones that you could they don't hurt when you go to sleep and you sleep on your side or whatever. I'm telling you, I listen to my recordings every day, and I live a magical life. And I happen to have some not so magical circumstances And yet, because of this technology, I still have this magical, beautiful life. That's, it's such a blessing.
Thank you. Okay, one of the greatest tools in our software is a module called Inner Voice. It's been around since the beginning. When we got started, I think it was before my time, but I think you only had like 2 modules when you were beta testing it, right? So cool to have Connie to work with, because she was a beta tester before they even launched everything. And but yeah, she said they were just basically, hey, check it out, report back to what's going on. But they didn't really have any guidance at all. But apparently people were having great results. So they launched the company 4.5 years ago. So, but Inner Voice has been around from the beginning. It will run a scan comparing 24,000 frequencies in your voice to the perfect blueprint frequencies, point out the imbalances in your emotional body, and then provide the counterbalancing harmonics to bring you back into emotional homeostasis. It's going to record 3 notes or octaves from the musical scale that are excessively out of balance, what we call overcompensated. And that is in the from the it's from the conscious mind, as well as the main octave that's being suppressed from your unconscious mind. It will then generate 4 audio files that correspond to each of the balancing octaves outlined in the report. We mail those to you, so that's really cool. For best results, we do say listen 2 to 3 times per day, but at a minimum, if you can just catch it like 5 minutes in the morning, it's going to really set you into a really good way for the day. A super fascinating feature is the scalar energy incorporated into the scanner. Tapping into scalar means we are working on the quantum field to deliver information. Put another way, I can help you even if you are in another city and I'm here, or even if you're asleep and I'm running the scanner all night long from a different room that I'm sleeping in. Thanks to modern technology, no longer is the equipment big and bulky and a whopping 35,000. Because this has a story, it has a timeline, and kind of goes deep into that in another talk that we do, which I'll share with you before we end. But it used to only be provided to functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, and chiropractors. And then, of course, you'd have to pay them to go to their office and work on you. But thanks to Windows 10 and thanks to the owner of our company investing a lot of money in developers for 2.5 years, it has now become portable. It's easy to use and affordable for the average household. It's your wellness center first resort with you 24/7. And with one account, you can have multiple client profiles. That means you can help yourself, your family, your friends, and we encourage you to help as many people as possible. Even those horses, doggies, cats, and I don't know who owns a dolphin, but if you do, you can help them too. Okay, so AO scan testimony slide we talked about earlier. I think there's a few people here that are already in the testimony slide. This came about, we were in our private team group sharing all this great information, those of us that were working on others. And one day I thought, well, this is awesome, but we're just all talking to each other. Other people need to see this. So I created a public channel where all of us, when we do our good work, we can go over there and talk about what happened. And then anybody who happens to just be watching, maybe not on our team yet, kind of curious, if they methodically see the work we're doing, it just becomes more real and more real. And our goal is to get it in their hands, because we can't help people really make drastic changes in their life if they don't have what we have. All right. And as I said, we're going to talk about an opportunity to listen to more. Connie goes into a really deep dive. She's done her own research on the science, has a little bit different angle than what I have. And she'll spend a little bit of time on that, but she'll really take you into every single module and give you a really good understanding of what it can do for you. For us, the most important thing is that we do get the word out, so that at least we ask you to talk with people about what you learned here tonight, or say, hey, they do these regularly. You can come online on Zoom. If you're in St. Louis, you can come live. I do this talk here. I do live twice per month. And it's just great. It's just an opportunity to educate, because that's where it all starts. And I do these talks because I see the healing stories consistently hitting our Telegram app, and it just drives me to want to get that out there so much. And I've experienced the results myself. I wouldn't be here if I had not had wonderful results, and I just get excited and want to help people. So are you someone who's going to be proactive for yourself? Might you be someone who's going to help the world, like Connie and I want to do? You can really do any level that you want. But there are thousands of quantum living advocates around the world right now who are doing what we do. If you're already in the healing arts profession, this is really cool. Remember when I showed you the picture of Lisa and her sound, her company's Sound, and Marita? They both incorporate the scanner into the work they already currently do. They figured a really innovative, fun way to include it into how they're already helping people. So you can create a menu of services. You can see everything that the scanner does, and you can put a value on that yourself. And you can treat clients. I got my first paying client coming up. She's going to pay me $149 a month to do some specific things for a couple people in her family, and I think that's interesting. Okay, so Albert Einstein said, future medicine, let me back up real quick. If you are wanting to read our testimonies, you need to download Telegram onto your phone or your computer, and then search for AO Scan testimonies. Or just reach out for us, we'll give you a link. And then from that link, it'll tell you to set up your account. Okay, so Albert Einstein said the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. I would say the future is now. And so I'm going to ask, are you ready? I think we should all be doing this. Let's go help the world. Thank you again for your time. And I do want to I just want to finish. So the next talk we do is for our team. Connie and I do a once per month business building call. You never know until we announce it, what the topic is going to be, but we cover many, many different topics, and then we archive them into our team area where you can review them at any point you want. And then the next talk, which is really kind of like a part 2 to tonight, it's kind of in a series, is the AO Scan presentation that Connie's going to be doing next Thursday. And there anything you want to say about that, Connie? I said a bit about it, but you might want to add something.
Yeah, I put in the chat the link for the next week's presentation. Wendy covered it really great. I will start with the science and history of the frequencies, a little bit different information and a different angle that Wendy just did a great job with. I do go through the technology, and I also talk about some other things that Solex offers that are incredible. And then if you are looking to impact other people other than just yourself and your family, this business has been a beautiful financial blessing for both me and Wendy and so many others. I was just running the numbers. I'm working on end of year, paperwork now. And I worked some numbers, and things are like, God is good. And so we are going to talk a little bit next week, Thursday, about the benefits of having your own frequency wellness business. And so you don't want to miss that. Our team, we do so much to support our team. So on Sunday night, we're going to be talking about casting your vision to thrive in 2025 and how we could use our software to put that all on an accelerated path. Because like one of the things we're going to talk about is MindSync and how to really get the best possible results out of MindSync, as well as some other things that I got up my sleeve. So we really do all we can to support everyone that wants to play in this arena with us. So great job, Wendy.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you, everybody. Hey, is it okay? I don't know if you want to close it up, but we can pull Randy out for a testimony, or you can leave it recorded.
Why don't we, I think we should hear his, I would love to have his testimony on recording, if that's okay.
You up to it, Randy? You there?
No problem. I'm here. Hi, guys.
Okay.
Okay. I'll give you a little bit of a background on this client. He is a naturopathic doctor. So he doesn't like the pill route at all, period. Now, he's had COPD. He only was diagnosed about 5 years ago. He feels he's had it all his life, except that now that he's getting older, it's really becoming prominent. And he has spent thousands and thousands of dollars traveling all over the world to do this and do that and do this and do that. And so I called him up and I said, okay, I have this incredible software that can help you. So I tried to sell him a subscription, because he's smart and he could do it. He says, I can't do that right now because this COPD has got me to the point I can barely talk. So let's end this conversation on the telephone and we'll talk via text. That's how bad his voice was. So I said, okay, the goodness of my heart, my friend, I've known you for a long time. I'm just going to run the frequencies on you. We'll do the inner voice. We'll do all the scans and everything. And then when they learned how to do multicast, I can, send them the frequencies 24/7. From the information I got from him after he did the inner voice one, I would modify the multiscan. So after 1 month of just doing the multicast 24/7, I left it on all the time because I have a dedicated computer just for the AL scan software. He said, thank you very much. I can finally talk again. I have my voice back 100%. So folks, this technology works. So what I would do, I would take a playlist, I would send it to him, call him in a couple of days, say, how do you feel? Are you feeling this? Because he's sensitive to energies. So I figured out the different playlists, which I put into the Telegram group, of the ones that I've been using that's been working for him. So guys, you have to have a little bit of patience. And now that we can see all the frequencies of the playlist, that's fantastic, because now we can just do screen grabs and share them. So I will say something else. I've been working on myself too. Playing with frequencies, doing different things, and leaving them run. Well, it had such an effect for a while that I couldn't sleep at all. I would maybe get 1 or 2 hours of sleep. I said, okay, I'm getting too wired. So what I would do, instead of running it 24/7 on me, at about 6 o'clock at night, I'd run from when I get up at 7 in the morning till 7 at night, shut it off. That way my body can catch up and I could go to sleep at 2 a.m. So it's good that those of us that are sensitive to frequencies and we can really feel these things, we're the best guinea pig because we know our body. We know our body. So that's my 2 cents for the evening.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when I was
You're
first
welcome.
introduced to you, you were telling me you were extremely sensitive to frequency. So I'm not surprised that that happened to you.
And I will give you a little insight. Dolphins are extremely telepathic. They're really, really sensitive to vibration. And I would think a dolphin's auric field is quite large, like a horse too, but I think a horse was that big.
Probably.
So that's very interesting because there is a gentleman here in Canada. He runs a horse place that he takes horses like that and he heals them. Okay, I'll close my
Thank you.
mic.
Thank you so much
You're
again.
welcome.
And thank you everybody for being here. And reach out to whoever invited you to this call if you have any more questions. If you don't want to wait till next week, we can talk to you. We can provide you more materials. There's plenty of other videos and audios, discussions with the owner of the company. Just whatever you want to do is great. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, everyone.